Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of This Made My Week. I'm your host, Vita, Janas, and today I have a very simple but powerful episode prepared. So stay tuned and let's get started. I love this week's episode already because, to be honest, I didn't really need to do much in terms of preparing what I can be talking about today because the week kind of guided me itself, so it feels very natural and very flowy. And it all started with a podcast episode where two of my favorite women spoke. They are Brené, of course, and Esther Perel. They were talking about living beyond the human scale and intimacy in the age of AI. I love the way Brené started an episode where she shared a conversation that she had with a pilot, and this conversation served as a metaphor for the whole episode. So basically, this pilot said that when you start flying planes, usually you start with bigger ones because they're easier to fly and maneuver. But once you get comfortable, you want something faster, you want to go higher to higher altitudes. And of course, these types of planes require a lot more skill, knowledge. So when you fly a two-seater plane, you need to be so skilled that you need to be prepared 60 or 90 seconds ahead of everything. Because if you make a mistake, and if you don't think ahead, that's it. You crash and it's gone. And that's the metaphor for the times that we're living right now with all the technologies, with AI. We don't really know where we're headed and what's gonna be happening next. And we're not really thinking ahead because we simply cannot see what the future looks like with AI. So they question it. But this episode is, of course, not all gloom and doom. The women talk about intimacy, about staying present, about vulnerability. What do we need to be vulnerable? And they talk about connection. They talk about connecting through music and singing together. It's a beautiful episode. And spoiler alert, Esther Perel sings, and she sings really well. So definitely check it out if you want some hope. This episode reminded me about simple joys and the fact that we really don't need much on the outside to feel joy on the inside. And right after this episode, I was driving while I was listening to it. I come back home and I check my Facebook and I open it and I see notifications, and I'm a member of this women's group called Luminous on Facebook, and in there, this woman was sharing about her joy about the sun and how much she appreciates it and how much she loved the eclipse and how kind of it changed her mindset yet again about the nature and the miracle of it. And she felt silly for being joyous about this stuff. And women in the comments started saying, oh my God, yes, waterfalls are making me so giddy and so happy and I'm obsessed with them. And then somebody else said that sunsets are making her so happy. And then somebody wrote, I think, something about mountains. And you could feel this genuine joy as you were reading each comment. I shared about my joy as well. I'm a morning person. I absolutely adore mornings. And it's not about the day ahead that awaits, but being in the moment itself, when you can see the light changing. I love the moment when it's not fully bright yet, but it's kind of in between, and the moon is fading, if you can see it in the sky, and you could hear birds chirping one by one, and it's getting louder and louder, and you can see cars passing by, and the traffic also kind of from the stillness gets more active and louder. I absolutely adore mornings and this process of becoming. In order for us to be happy, we need something to happen on the outside, whether that's buying a new dress, going on a trip, getting a promotion, driving a nice car. I can see a car driving right now. So something outwardly happens and that's makes us happy. And joy is different because you don't need anything external to happen to access your joy. Joy is a state of being. Joy comes from connection. So whenever you get really present, whenever you fully arrive to the present moment, to the body that you're in, you connect to your environment, you connect and attune to yourself, you connect to nature, that's when joy emerges naturally. You don't really need to do anything. You don't need to get anything. There is no condition. The only one thing required is to become present. Once you're present, all of a sudden you can see so many things to be fascinated by, to be grateful for, to love and admire. Get present. Be joyous. If you're watching this and feeling like, this is silly, like, I want to skip this, here's a cautious reminder. This is exactly what our toxic culture has done to us. They made us believe that we constantly need to be striving and chasing another bigger, more intelligent, faster, higher thing, the other shiny object. And I'm here to tell you that this chase is exactly what's stopping you from connecting to your joy. This lack is a consequence of capitalism and our consumerism obsessed culture. You don't need all of it. You can have all of it if you want. You don't need it. You can have it. You don't need it to feel joy. That's the difference. Okay, so now that I got this off of my chest, we can move on. And then, inspired by this Facebook group, I decided to ask my community on my Instagram. By the way, I have a personal Instagram page where I share more of life coaching stuff in my personal life. You can follow me at Vita Janas. So I asked my friends over there, what has made your week? What kind of simple joys you enjoyed this week? And these were the answers. Kelsey said, chopping vegetables in the kitchen with some jazz on. Yes, jazz music in general always makes everything better and almost magical. The sound of birds chirping in the morning. Night car ride with my favorite songs and spontaneous coffee stop. Sleeping in, breakfast in bed. Yes, this is my luxury because I have an alarm clock that never stops my son. So this is, yes. Sleeping next to my child. Yes, co-sleeping is the best. For me, it's one of the best parts of motherhood, sleeping together with my son. The smell after the rain, classic. The highest peak of a song that I really love. That's very interesting answer, and isn't that the best when you're just jamming, like, yeah. Finally finishing my thesis. That doesn't sound simple at all, but nevertheless, congratulations. This feeling must be amazing. After a long winter, being able to walk barefoot again. At the end of the day, when my cat purrs on my lap. Going on a long walk with my friend. Thank you all so much for sending these and sharing your simple joys. They definitely made my week. Here are a few clips from my week that made me joyous. After the podcast, after the Facebook group conversation, after my own poll on Instagram, and after noticing joy in my own life as well, I remembered this podcast episode with Dr. Dacher Keltner. He is professor of psychology at Berkeley University and author, speaker. He researches and writes about awe, this feeling of wonder. According to his research, this experience of awe can reduce inflammation in our body, stress, anxiety, and make us happier, more connected human beings overall. According to Dr. Keltner, we can experience the sense of awe through connection, music, nature, spirituality, these aha, big moments, big ideas and realizations, birth and death experiences. Definitely check him out. Stay on YouTube right after you finish this video. So practice experiencing awe and make your own week. Okay, and for the end, I want to leave you with this beautiful story and simple thing that transformed a whole community. So there's a couple, Jonathan and Natalie. They moved during the pandemic to a countryside in Vermont with a house with a huge lawn in front of it. And because they were sick and tired of mowing the lawn, they decided to grow a meadow instead. What at first seemed like a solution for the problem that they had became a thing that has transformed the couple's life. Now people from everywhere gather to see the meadow. They bring baked goods, they paint it. So the couple is making new friends and deep connections. Jonathan and Natalie are themselves constantly in awe. They planted a bunch of seeds, so they did not know what to expect themselves. And based on the season, based on what kind of flowers are blooming, the meadow keeps changing throughout the summer, fall, and spring. And it's just such a beautiful example that you really don't need much on the outside. These are just flowers. These are just flowers, and they're bringing them so much joy. That's the power of nature. That's the power of the present moment. That's the power of connecting to your environment and to yourself, of course. And this is where I'm gonna leave you. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending your precious time together with me. I really do appreciate it. If joy is contagious, which we know that it is, I wanna be the virus that spreads it. This is what this channel is all about, so send me an email with moments of joy or happiness that has made your week, and I will share it here with everybody. I cannot wait to hear from you. In the meantime, have a good week and come back next Wednesday for more. Stay safe. Bye.